We're live.
And we got a
Hey,
cat.
everybody. We got
Oh
a
man.
cat. Welcome back to Last Night Productions. Today, we're doing a quick review on the freshly released Avatar The Way of Water, the sequel to the 2009 original James Cameron film, Avatar. We're back on Pandora, guys. We're hanging out the Navi. Jake Sully has a family now, and he has to move because the humans are coming back for him. They want revenge. So he has to go join the Water Tribe. Um, yeah, so we saw it last night when it came out yesterday, Friday, the 16th, December. Uh, I got Ian to come with me and we saw it in 3D on the big XD screen. Ian, what did you think about it?
Um, it was well. Thank you for inviting me, and I really appreciate that. I wasn't gonna see it, but I was kind of you and Cameron over on Obnoxious and Anonymous kind of talked me into giving it a shot, and just I guess as a little precursor, I rewatched the first movie yesterday because I hadn't seen it since maybe the theater,
Yeah, that's a long
and
time ago.
it's how I remember it. Like it's a fine movie. It's just everyone said when it came out, and this argument still holds up. It's just Dancing with Wolves, but with blue people,
Yeah.
and or Pocahontas or Ferngully or whatever you want to say. And yeah, it was a all right rewatch. There were times where just like, all right, let's get this shit wrapped up. And then watching the new one yesterday, it's kind of how I feel about the first one. It's like, okay, the 3D's neat. It's just too long. Really, it's just the same one as the first one, except now there's a bunch of teenagers. And yeah, too long. Yeah, it wasn't bad. It's like I would say it's really just the first one. Just just with instead now we're focused on their kids. And yeah, same way I feel like it's fine, but I wasn't blown away. Um, I mean, there are we can talk about there are little differences, but overall, like it didn't. This movie's getting hype, and it's just more kind of like if what you thought about the first one, I feel like most people are gonna feel about this one. But anyway, what would you think?
I liked it. I'm in the positive on this one. I do agree with everybody. Everybody has been saying it's too long. What is it? 3 hours runtime?
I think it's over.
Over 3 hours. It's a
I
long
think
movie.
yeah, it's well. Do you think it's too? You do think it's too long?
I think when we were leaving the theater yesterday, you said he could have trimmed a couple things off. Maybe you're right, but I
Probably
also
a
think that
lot.
he's trying to make a world. He's trying to make a new
Three hours,
universe.
12 minutes.
Okay, yeah, over 3 hours. It's a long one. Um, but yeah, he's really making a whole universe right now. He's making you connect with the characters. He has to give them a lot of backstory. He has to make you fall in love with these characters before eventually in the climax they'll start fighting each other and you're like, wait, should I be rooting for the humans because that's I'm a human? Probably not because they're destroying Pandora.
Yeah.
Or should you follow Jake Sully and his family? They're trying, I don't want to say preservation of the ecosystem, but they're helping animals and just trying to survive and be a family. um I will say, I'm starting to fall in love with Pandora. I want more. I really like the world that he is crafting, James Cameron. Sam Worthington is Jake Sully. It's good to have him back narrating. We saw a little bit more of a Sigourney Weaver. She comes back as a teenager in this film, a teenage avatar. Zoe Saldana as their mother, Jake Sully's wife. I think she's really good in this one. I liked her in the first one, and it's good to have her back. But I will say I started cheering. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Everybody, spoiler alert! Um, the Colonel comes back from the first one, um, but he's reborn as an Avatar, and it was so cool to see him back. Um, but yeah, I'm starting to really like the characters. The story's okay. A lot of it is like an echo of the first one. We even see a lot of parallels, a lot of the one-liners that they're delivering, you can say, "Oh yeah, I remember that from the first one."
We're not in Kansas anymore. I remember that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah. So with I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
No.
I almost don't want to critique the movie for that because I feel like if I did, I'd be a hypocrite because there are sequels that do that I really, really like. Terminator 2 is very close to the first one. Home Alone 2,
Mhm.
there's a lot of sequels that do that I really enjoy. So I don't want to critique it for that in a way,
Mhm.
Do you think that's fair? I don't know.
No, I think it's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, we're following the family, the Sully family, so of course
right.
there's gonna be some faces that we remember, and it's good to see those people again.
Yeah, but they do bring in the new characters.
Yeah, yeah. One of them is, Tony Soprano's wife, Eddie Falco. She's back as a
Yeah,
general, a
Carmela, Carmela,
mean gruff
Carmela
general in this
Soprano.
one.
Yeah,
I almost couldn't buy it because 'cause I've been watching Sopranos
I
recently
know.
for the first
Yeah,
time.
and
She's just a mom.
I guess spoiler alert as well. Like she just kind of disappears from the movie, like
Yeah.
not even like maybe a third of the way through. I don't know. It's like, oh, all right, well, goodbye. Hey,
Christian's here, what's up?
Mr. Big Butt.
The big butt burrito.
This big butt's ready to stuff all the meats and cheese.
What is rhyming?
We're talking about Avatar 2. Did you get a chance to see it, Christian? It just came out, of course.
Christian made the right choice.
Skipped it.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, no.
I was-
do you guys like it?
Well, if there was an extra ticket, would you have gone with us?
I don't think so.
I liked
mean,
it. I liked it.
I don't like.
Okay.
I don't know if I regret seeing. I wouldn't say I regret seeing it, but I didn't walk away changed or blown away or anything.
Yeah. It's just a fun spectacle. I mean, the graphics are crazy on this one, and he's using a
Yeah,
new
it is looking
technology. Yeah, he's using a new technology for the frame rate. So he's flipping back and forth between like standard, I don't know what's the standard, like 24 frames,
Yes.
and he's like cranking it all the way up to a lot of modern televisions come with that motion blur
Yeah.
already programmed onto it, and a lot of the scenes look like that.
Yeah.
A lot of them look like pre-rendered cutscenes out of a video game you would see on the
Yes.
PlayStation 5 or the Xbox One.
Oh,
It looked a lot like a video game.
Yeah.
This whole film.
I didn't like that. It was kind of making me. It was to the point where I'm like, I don't. This is like kind of making me sick. Like
It was kind of jarring at first. I was
it's
like,
too much,
"Oh."
and I don't like how it jumped, but because then it go back to 24, and then I think it jumped from 48 to 60. Also, it's just like stop, just pick one and stick to it. Like it was just too much.
I heard in like
for
a
me.
single in a single scene, he'll have the frame rate like flip just over and
Yeah.
over again. It's just
It was a little too much for me.
yeah. It
Much
looks
like
a
with a
little
lot
weird.
of this movie is kind of just too much of a length, too much
Yeah.
of that.
A lot of setup until we get to the big climactic battle.
Yeah.
Which I thought the action was great. I was like, ooh, get him, go, go.
It was fine.
I had a lot of fun.
It was fine.
I laughed, I cried, I cheered. I think that I think this is a fun one, a fun little blockbuster to go out with all your friends and check it out.
Okay.
all right. Yeah, I mean, the graphics looked good in the previews and stuff. It didn't. I mean, since it's new technology, I guess it's not gonna be perfect. But
Spoilers. It's how long did it take to get to the water? Like what? 45, maybe an hour. 45 minutes, maybe an
Yeah,
hour.
it does take a while.
So I'm like, okay, when are they gonna get to the water? When are they get to the water? And then when they do, I'm like, oh, all right, well. Anyway, like
Yeah.
I was waiting so fucking long, and then when it got there, I was just like, I've waited so long, now I just don't care. I don't know. It did look cool, but it's just like, I don't know, man. It's just too long. It's just like, I think they should have sped that up a little bit.
Right. Yeah, I can kind of see that. I kind of agree with you there. It did take a while,
Yeah.
but it's cool. I'm excited to the ending. It kind of set us up for more movies, of course. I think Cameron has like 7, 8 films planned out.
Yep.
So I'm ready
Maybe
for
it'll-
Avatar 3.
it's trying to be tech man of the monster verse.
Yeah, he's
Like all
pushing the
the
limits.
all the Friday the 13th movies and shit.
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah. Uh, yeah. I mean, because I guess they were all actually there, like swimming in the water, according. Because I watched interviews, like
Okay.
with Sigourney Weaver and some of the other actors, and they were like, "No, that's actually us, like in the water." Like, apparently, James Cameron didn't want like most of them to have masks on. Like, he would make them like hold their breath underwater while they have like
Damn.
this equipment on or something. And there's like one guy that he let have a camera or something. I don't know, not a camera, a mask.
Wow.
I heard that
That's
they
how-
constructed like a huge water tank so that everybody could be swimming around in it.
That's
It's
interesting.
like
Yeah.
millions of gallons or something crazy.
Yeah, so I mean that's impressive.
Hmm.
It's pretty cool that they can do that. Hopefully, it's used more. Because
Mhm.
even in the previews, I thought like some of the hands at least like they looked pretty real. Like I mean,
Yeah.
The effects are really good. And I was telling Carlos this yesterday. Like, I watched Avatar, the first one, for the first time, and probably since it came out yesterday. And the effects in that hold up very well, almost to the
Mhm.
point where it's like it almost seemed like kind of the same.
Hmm.
Like,
Huh.
I don't think the effects in this are that drastically different than the first one. I don't know. Do you agree with that, Carlos?
Yeah, I think where his technology really changed is the frame rate switching in
Yeah.
this film.
And again, I did not care for that at all. But
Yeah, I almost kind of like the first one a little bit better just because we get more I'm not a big water fan, I guess. I've always
see,
been
I am. I do like.
you know,
I do like stuff like that. Yeah.
I like the airplanes flying around in the first one and mechs
Yeah.
going around and shooting each other.
I would have to say, if I were to choose between the two, I would go with the first one most likely.
Hmm.
It was just
Yeah. We get a lot more humanity too in the first one. Because
exactly
he's still trying to decide, should I stay in my human broken
right.
body or should I become just
Exactly.
a full-on avatar?
Yeah, it's a little more interesting.
Hmm.
Even though I actually liked him better, and I thought his acting was a lot better in this than the first one. Like, to me, he's like the most boring main character ever in the first movie. But in this, and it's funny because he's not really that much of a center point in this one, but I thought his performance was a lot better,
Yeah.
ironically. But
Yeah. A lot of James Cameron's previous films kind of come out in this one too, like Titanic. And I think you said he did Abyss. I don't want to say Abyss.
yeah,
Yeah. Where towards the end of the film we have a lot of water scenes where we have to escape boats and stuff. Made me clench up in my seat. Yeah, but you want to rate this one, Ian?
sure,
What do you give it out of 5?
probably a 3.
A 3 out of 5? Okay.
Yeah, because it's like Juan. I think Juan said the same thing. Like, it's not a bad movie. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
we already discussed. It's just like too long. And I didn't like bringing back the bad guy from the first one. That
Mhm.
was just a little too retconny, silly for me. Just like make a
Mhm.
new bad guy. I don't know. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. That was just a little. What do you call it? Cheap almost. I don't know.
Kind of a. I think you pointed out there's almost like a little plot hole in there.
Well, the whole first movie, he's saying how much
Anti-Navi.
he's very sort of bigoted against the Navi, and then this movie opens up with him like basically explaining that right before he died, he signed up to be one of them in the case that he did die. It's like, well, why? Like, that's just a little out of character. But
Yeah.
I don't know. That was a little silly. But yeah, it's I don't know. 3 out of 5. Yeah, it looked cool and this and that, but it's it's still just not a lot of depth there. Just kind of you go in and don't go. I wouldn't go in for the story or anything personally.
Right.
Yeah. What about you?
I am going to give it a 4 out of 5. I was really excited by the returning characters, and you said you didn't like the Colonel coming back. I was so stoked, dude. I was like, "Let's go!" As soon as I saw him coming back, and I think he put on a really good performance. Stephen Lang is the actor. You
He
can
came
kind
back.
of,
Okay.
yeah, the Colonel.
But
You
his
can kind
character.
of,
Well, I think I joked about like he's just so he's like a stereotype cliche of like what a military guy is, you know.
Like a straight
It's
up
like
GI Joe.
I call he's like Chip Hazard in Small Soldiers, but
Yeah,
that
yeah,
works
that's why I like him.
as much. I don't care for Small Soldiers, but that works because it's a toy. It's not an
Mhm.
actual person, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, like I was watching Avatar, the first one yesterday. He's like, shut your pie hole. I'm just like, isn't this supposed to take place like in the 23rd, 4th century? Would people still be saying these outdated, you know, cliched military lines at this time? It's just so, I don't know. I mean, they gave, at least in this one, he's a little like they gave him this, which I didn't get that angle too. He had a son, apparently.
Yeah.
That wasn't
Don't know where
it.
that kid
What?
came from.
And then they were all like I thought you went back to Earth. Oh, babies can't go through cryospace, dipshit. It's like, well, then how'd you get out there then? I didn't get that at all. That got a big laugh in the theater. I'm like, well, that doesn't make any fucking. I don't get that. But
Where's his mom?
how did he get out there? If babies can't go through cryospace, then how the fuck did he get there? If he can't go back, what the fuck was that about? Anyway,
Yeah, the kid was an interesting character. He reminds me a lot of you said that this James Cameron leans a lot on Native American history.
Mhm.
The kid reminded me of Hernan Cortez's translator when he was conquering Aztec
that makes sense. Yeah.
culture. Melanson, butchering the name, but basically, there's the question of did Melanitsin destroy the Aztec Empire? Is she a bad person, or is she just misunderstood because she just went through the tribes with Cortez and translated for him? And we see that with the son in this film. He's just going through and translating for his dad. And then all of a sudden his dad starts flame torching the whole villages. And he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't know that they're going to do this. I'm sorry. So do we think the son is a bad guy? Is he a good guy? I don't know.
That that was, I think that's maybe, I think even though I thought it was silly to bring him back, that what's his name?
I just call him,
Yeah,
I don't know. It's
exactly.
Miles Quaritch.
I think he might actually be a more interesting character in this movie. He's a little more,
Yes.
but that could have been anybody. That doesn't have to be that guy from the first one, you know?
That's true. But then
But,
you can even see it in the scenes he like is experiencing like flashbacks and trauma, but it's very subtle unless you can catch it. He does have that tough exterior where, you know, he has to be strong and tough, but then, you know, I think Jake Sully even calls him on a bluff and he like breaks. He goes, "Oh, dang it. Oh, yeah, never mind. I won't do that." I thought his character was great in this film. Real positive for me. All right, let's get out of here, guys. We got to go review Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2.
Yes.
Oh,
The real sequel of this
do they have
weekend.
blue furry sex?
I don't think, did they?
I don't remember that in the film.
Okay.
Yeah,
They do have
with,
garbage
with it
pails.
being over 3 hours long. I mean, you would have thought there would have been something, but I guess, you know,
Oh, you're
No,
talking about
I mean-
Avatar 2?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about
in Silent Night
Silent
that
Night.
they should have in Silent Night Deadly Night.
Blue furry sex. Yeah. Red furry
Yeah, but-
sex.
But catch Avatar: The Way of the Water in theaters. I will say, worth a ticket. See it on the big screen. Ian, what do you think?
Ooh.
Head to the
I don't
theater
know.
this weekend. If there's any tickets left.
I would go to a matinee.
Okay. Yeah.
I would not pay full price.
Okay.
Unless you are a big Avatar fan, you really like the first one, sure, go pay full price. But if you're just casual, kind of like me, I would see it at a matinee.
Yeah, and see it in 3D. That's why we love the first one, because 3D technology, baby.
Real quick, you know, I got more 3D fun out of when we saw Jaws and Dawn of the Dead. But maybe it's because I think those are great movies and this isn't. So this is an all right movie.
This one had Jaws vibes too. The whaling.
I guess. I don't know.
Anyway, let's get out of here. We
Yeah,
got to
yeah.
review a better movie,
Yes.
a more highly rated movie.
a more fun movie.
All right, we'll be back in a second, everybody. Later.
See ya.